Hello and welcome to another episode of A Coffee with Chris. As always, brought to you in association with our charity partner, Big C, who help local people affected by cancer, and proudly sponsored by Hill Coaching Company, here to help you become a better version of yourself today. And don't forget, people, one more plug, don't worry. The Reputation Matters event is coming up. If you are a business owner and you're fed up of marketing waffle and you want some straight talking, tangible business advice to grow your business brand, then please do drop me a private message on LinkedIn and I will send you the ticket link. This event is going off in Norwich. It's going to be a blockbuster and well worth attending. Now, let's get stuck into today's conversation. I'm so grateful to have managed to bag this guest. Very much a LinkedIn authority builder. His name is Stefan Boyle. He's a LinkedIn ghostwriter for busy CEOs, business owners, and senior executives. Stefan, welcome to A Coffee with Chris. Let's start off with this question. What does having authority on LinkedIn actually mean?
Well, it's a good question. I think it is determined really by, firstly, the awareness. Do people know who you are? Secondly, do they know what you actually do? Because I find it incredible how you probably all see LinkedIn profiles that say owner, director, and it's almost like one of those murder mystery games where you've got to be a detective to work out what someone does. And I find it amazing where it's probably someone who's never, not really caught up in the last 10 years, when we used to just have it as like an online CV. But really, I think it's so important just to make it really clear instantly. I know what you do, what you offer, who you offer it to, and how you help people. What does that look like? So that's part of that authority of that transparency about your message, about this is who I am, what I do, and how I help people. So that's part of it. And then it's about trust. It's about how do you build rapport with people? How do you share your background, your stories, the experiences you've had in business or life, whatever it is that you want to share, just to actually become known, to your target audience. So that's really authority in a nutshell for me. It's that cliche of know, like, and trust is still so relevant on social media more than ever. It used to be, your reputation was word of mouth in business, and people might say, look, speak to this guy, he's great at what he does, use him for whatever. Now it's visible to a global audience, and that creates almost unlimited opportunities if you start to build that awareness of you, your personal brands, your business, your products, and your services. So it's really all about know, like, and trust, but in an ongoing reputation authority building process.
It's almost like you're good at what you do, Stefan. That was a perfect opener. Really easy to understand the authority piece there. I really, really, really want to, in this conversation, combat the stigma of, oh, this is just sort of marketing waffle, right? There is some, huge benefits from delving into the work of building yourself as an authority on this platform. And at the end of the day, Stefan, social media is just a trust building tool, right? It's all about speeding up the process between prospect and customer, prospect and client. And so you can do this through building your authority. Bang on the money. Why should people do this though, right? Can't they just continue to hide behind a corporate banner, or do business owners now need to do this? What do they get out of it? Give me the why, Stefan.
But I think the short answer to that is you don't have to if you don't want to. I just think if you don't do it, you're missing out. There's arguably a billion people, give or take a few 100 million either way of whatever you want to believe the stats are. But that's more customers or business partners or staff or media opportunities, whatever it is that you're looking for, than 1,000 lifetimes. So in your lifetime, in your career, why not leverage this free platform where you can just target so many people and you can become known for what you do? Why would you not do it? That's what I never understand. And I think there are I think maybe it's a personal thing where some people are quite maybe shy, maybe reticent about banging their own drum, don't know how to do it, what to do, how to say it. And I see quite a lot of people who comment on posts about personal brand, and I speak to a lot of people as well who are a bit awkward about this thought leadership term. And
Hmm.
I don't really know why, because it's all just different words and phrases that describe your reputation. Now, you can just sit there and do bugger all, let's be blunt, and let people talk about you, but not that many people probably will if you're not that well known. Or you can manage the process and actually build an audience yourself so more people do become known. Now, I always say to people, not everyone will like you. If you meet someone in a coffee shop, in a pub, a party, a wedding, anywhere in life, not everyone will like you. But that's fine, because some people will like you. We all know that happens in reality, but you can just accelerate the process and find people who are maybe indifferent towards you. Some people won't like, listening to this now, some people won't like my voice, my glasses, my face,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, or any of that stuff. And I don't know why, but that's just what human beings are like. I think
Yes.
the quicker you can overcome that fear, it's going to help you accelerate your business and your career, or whatever it is you're looking to do, really. And I think it's amazing that so many people are scared. It might be the fear of being judged. They might not want to supposedly give away their secrets to their competitors or any of those things. But I always think your competitors can find out this stuff if they really want to.
Yeah.
We've all heard of headhunters. They can all nick your best staff and get your inside secrets. So, get over yourself a little bit, and it's a case of just being a little bit bolder, chest
Yes.
held high and saying, right, this is who I am. I'm going to tell people about it.
Yeah.
And
So well said. It's a case of online now, and obviously with social media, if you're not posting, you're losing market share, in my humble opinion. And if you're not laying down a brick, someone else is, to use another coined phrase that's spoken about all the time. And link back to your first point as well of you don't have to do this. You don't
no.
have to build a personal brand. You don't have to become an authority on LinkedIn. But success leaves evidence, doesn't it? And look at all of these fast, rapidly growing businesses. One that springs to mind straight away for me is Gymshark, for example, and Ben Francis there. And I know that these businesses might seem out of reach and unattainable for people watching and listening, Stefan, but all of the biggest, best, fastest growing businesses now, all tapping into this, whether it's personal brand, thought leader, key person of influence, LinkedIn authority. They're all tapping into it, aren't they? So, and it's great that you've mentioned there about some of the barriers. Fear is obviously a big one, and judgment from competitors, from friends, from colleagues is huge as well, which is interesting. What sort of experience do you have typically with your clients on that, Stefan? Because I think it's important to delve into that world, because I don't want people to watch this and think, oh yeah, but I'm just a bit scared, to be honest with you, because it is normal, isn't it? A lot of people are quite hesitant to take that leap to becoming an authority on LinkedIn.
But what's really interesting is that everyone I work with, without exception, as far as I can recall, not a single one of them have ever liked one of my posts or commented on any one of my posts,
Ooh.
but they DM me and we jump on a call. That's where the gold is. Now, I'm fine with that. I'm not all about the likes. I mean, obviously, it's nice to get engagement. It's nice to get lots of likes and comments and start conversations. But that doesn't necessarily make you money. I've had a couple of viral posts. That I had one around the Queen's funeral that got 1 million views in 24 hours, and
Yeah.
it was unbelievable. A
Yeah.
few weeks ago, around the World Cup, I did a post about Gareth Southgate. That got 500,000 views in 2 days. Now, that was a nice thing, but it didn't necessarily make me a ton of money. Now, and I'm really all about progressing my business. That's why I post. And I find writing therapeutic, to be honest. I love writing, but I just really focus on the quality conversations that it can develop rather than focus on. It's easy to go viral. You say, I'm the new Andrew Tate, or I'm controversial about something, or here's a really emotive opinion or something. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean success for you. Now, everyone I work with, as I said, that they don't really post on LinkedIn. They might share a few corporate updates and reshare those company stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, Chris, but I seem to recall running a business is quite a involved job. It takes a lot of your time up. There's everyone wants a piece of you. Everyone wants a decision. That could be, your team, your clients, whoever, everyone you work with. It takes a lot of effort to run a successful business, whatever size. If you're a one-man band, you're doing everything. If you're running a corporate, you've got thousands of employees. So all those people, time is not something they've got an abundance of. But they also recognize that 1 billion people on this platform is going to create opportunities somewhere if they can build that audience to them. Now, people I work with also maybe don't have the skills, the desire, inclination to start creating content on any platform. It's maybe not, I've got clients who aren't even on Facebook or Instagram, but they recognize for business this is important. Now, committing, I always recall a conversation I had some years ago about email, when email newsletters started becoming, big. And someone said to me, "Oh, yeah, we've got an email newsletter." I said, "How many people?" "Probably about 200. "Okay, how often do you communicate with those people?" "Oh, regular's clockwork." "What does that mean?" "At least once a quarter." I'm like, once a quarter, they've forgotten about you within 5 minutes of you sending the last email. You have to be present. Attention is the new commodity. You have to be, you can't say you never complete social media, do you? You can't get to the end of it. It's an ongoing commitment where you've got to share content all the time. Now, you can listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, who wants you to do about 1 million posts a day. Now, that isn't necessarily something that everyone aspires to do, but at least if you're sharing content 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, that will keep you on people's radar. And I always say Coca-Cola still advertise every single day in every country in the world, online, offline. We all know what Coca-Cola is. So why would you, in your 1-man, 2-man, 10-man, 1,000-person business, not want to keep sharing your message? And you have to have that ongoing commitment. So that's why I find people I work with want to use a ghostwriter. The other thing, people are much more comfortable with jumping on a call like this and telling me stories about themselves, what they've done, their background, how they've achieved what they've achieved, what their customer experience is like, that transition, what's gone right for them, what also, just as importantly, what's gone wrong for them. You learn far more about yourself and about your business, everything else, by the mistakes, the cock-ups when it hits the fan. That's when we really learn. And sharing that is much more relatable than just sharing a corporate update of we've just won award for, we're 3rd best provider of X in, Buckinghamshire or whatever it may be. Yippee do. No one really cares apart from you. Share the real stuff. That's what people want to know.
I love that. You've covered so much there, actually, Stefan. So thank you for that. There's a few things I want to pick up on, actually. One is your point of reference, Gary Vaynerchuk, and going back to my question around what are the barriers. And I think there's a new barrier. I think people are getting the LinkedIn authority ick, where they think they have to do the showy off stuff. And Gary Vaynerchuk preaches all the time about attention. I've yet to read this book. I've got it ready to rock. And we have to get over this word here, don't we? Attention, because without it, no one's going to actually buy our products or services. And I do feel that is something that and I'm sure you would agree, Stefan, that business owners need to get over. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I think it's a lot of people feel awkward about it. But you can make a decision in life, can't you? Am I going to get out of my comfort zone because it's worth it, or am I going to stay in my shell and not share anything? And as I said, a lot of people are far more comfortable having a call and telling people about this stuff. But then the actual nitty-gritty of typing it out and then rereading it 1 million times, oh, I've got to change that, and you end up never actually getting it done. But actually outsourcing it, sharing the knowledge, and conversations, and how I work on it is I record calls, I transcribe calls, so I can literally take the words out of people's mouths, um, and then I can then craft them into stories, into posts, that
Brilliant.
just help people. It's coming from them. It's on their profile.
Yes.
I'm a ghostwriter. I'm in the background somewhere, and lots of people don't know who I'm writing for. And people assume that that person's written that post, which is absolutely that's the goal for me. But it just helps them
Brilliant.
ease that awkwardness of writing and the time barrier and all the other things I mentioned earlier. It just helps them get out of themselves and say, "Great, that's how I wanted to say it. Thanks." And that's the ongoing relationship that I have with people.
Love that. With you. Get it. Let's really hammer home the benefits here, Stefan. Like, what are your clients? Say a client starts working with you, or in general, personal brand work. Like, what results are you seeing in the market from people that take this seriously? Because I'm so aware of the fact that you and I can talk till the cows come home for hours and hours on end about how the types of content, the engaging captions that we use. We can get all marketing geeky on it, but what are people actually going to get out of it? Why should business owners actually commit to this?
So there's a number of reasons, and it all goes down to the individual, what they're looking to achieve. Some of my clients just want to build an audience for sort of future proofing themselves, because we all know a business may not last forever. You might shut it, you might sell it, you might pivot and start selling something completely different, a different product or service. And if you've got an audience, it's like for starting a business or launching a new product or service. With no audience, it's like walking uphill through treacle towing a fridge. It's not easy. If you've already got an engaged audience, you're regularly sharing stuff about you, what you've done before. You built that engagement level and that trust element. When you launch something new, it's far more likely to accelerate quicker if someone already I know this guy or this lady or whatever. I know what they're about. I trust them. I'm
Yeah.
interested in knowing a bit more about this. I think that's the biggest value. Now, there's some of my clients want media opportunities. They want to be on get on the radar to come on shows like yours, or do public speaking gigs, all those kind of things. They just want to raise their profile. Some people want to generate new business leads. Some people want to attract better staff. Some people want to attract more investment into their business or business partners or all different things. If there's any aspect of relationship in business that you can promote on LinkedIn, it doesn't have to be I just want business leads. You might
Yes.
want to write in publications that might be the printed article or magazine. You might want to stand on a stage in New York and tell people about your story. Now it's amazing the opportunities. Now, just talking about from my own point of view, when I started doing this, I had no idea ghostwriting was even a thing. I've heard of people celebrities having their books written for them.
Yes.
But on social media, I hadn't really thought it through enough, really. But now I'm working with clients in Canada, in the US, in the UK, and they've all got different goals and aspirations from the content. They're all different industries as well. And that's what I love about it, is that contrast with working with different people with their own specific objectives. They're all in it for the long term. I think all smart business leaders play the long game. They know
Yes.
there's not a fast buck, a quick win. You might get some along the way, but the point being is, if you just keep building, keep committing to it, keep building that trust, you're going to win eventually.
I love the fact that you've just really hammered home the benefits there, Stefan. I'm just so conscious of business leaders listening to all of these marketing podcasts these days, and they're just sort of waffling on about all of this stuff, this activity that you could do, but until you hammer home the outcome, they don't get just how important it is. And I really would like to ask you about the first steps. Actually, now this might be the first steps you take your clients on, Stefan, or perhaps just some more general first steps. If a business owner is what I would call a LinkedIn lurker, what would you recommend to them to get going, to get started, their first few months? How should they do it, whether they use someone like yourself or not?
So a good analogy I have for this. So the first thing is your content pillars, which is basically the subjects you want to write about. Now,
Mhm.
I've got a way of describing this, and my metaphor of it is, what do you do when you meet a new prospective clients? The first thing, you don't sit down to them with them and start pitching at them straight away, do you? The first part of this is rapport building. You
Yeah.
start, you sit down. How did and I'm talking, maybe it's a bit old school to talk about face-to-face meetings. Maybe a lot of them are online now, but whatever it is, you start to get to know each other. Where do you live? Where are you going on holiday? What your hobbies are? Anything about them. And I always say, to be interesting, you've got to be interested. So you've got to find out about people. And so that's the start of the meeting. You're talking about your family, your kids, your car, any common grounds that you can find with that potential client. It's like, if you get on great with the client, the chances of closing a deal with them are dramatically higher, even if
Yeah.
you've got competitors. If someone likes you and trusts you, there's always a way of getting a deal done in some form. So that's the starting point on the top level of your content. How do you build rapport? How do you share your story? What have you been through? How have you got to where you are today? How's your business evolved? It's all that top level, first getting to know you type stuff. Once you've got over that, you then get down to business. You start talking about their pain points, their issues, how you solve those issues. Perhaps relating that to other similar clients that
Mm.
you've worked with. What that transition of how they were from before and after working with you, and you talk about all those things about your specific offer. And then
Mm.
the bottom of the funnel, or the third pillar or topic, is what would you talk about after at the end of the meeting, and then on an ongoing rapport building. You don't just build rapport once; it's an ongoing process. So, what would you share? That's probably case studies again, other experiences, and
Mm.
ongoing stuff about, I've just been on holiday to Greece, blah, blah, blah. Again, just getting to know you stuff as well. So that's how I kind of recommend people break it down. Think about those three stages of any meeting. And if you can build those into categories, then you've got subjects to talk about. I'm sure that for anyone, if you got to sit down and write those things down and then start saying, well, give me 10 ideas for each one, it flows really easily when you think about it like that.
Yeah.
The next thing that's really important, once you define those content pillars, make sure everything is seen off the same hymn sheet. Your LinkedIn headline, your banner,
Mm.
your about section, everything has got to, make sure it's resonating with that audience. So, like I said earlier, when they come to your LinkedIn profile, they can see instantly what you do and who you help and how you help them. Not,
Yeah.
well, they said that in a post, but no, I'm looking at you, can't even find your website. I can't even find your about section. It doesn't tell
Yeah.
me anything. Just says you're a business owner. So it's making sure that it's easy for people to learn about what you do, how you help people, and what the outcome potentially looks like for them.
I think that's brilliant. I might coin a new analogy, which is I think how you described your beginning point there, Stefan, was the rapport building social sandwich. I'm going to call it, where you
I
start
like
with a
it.
rapport, you start with a rapport, in the middle you do the this is the businessy stuff, and then you
The
finish it
meat.
with rapport
Yeah.
as well. I love that. Um,
Yeah.
and so many business owners I'm finding that are doing LinkedIn themselves is they're really good at the advanced, geeky, technical, businessy, professional stuff, but they don't tap into the like part of know, like, and trust, do they? They don't do that, and so this leads on to my next question, Stefan. Is in terms of the content mix in order to build this rapport building sandwich, what types of content are you seeing working in terms of content that helps you build authority? Because there's this constant debate in social media about video, no video, long form, short form. What is the best content for building authority on LinkedIn? Is there a blueprint, a specific mix that you would recommend to people?
But I think the important thing with any marketing is, and we can debate it all day long, and for different businesses, that the typical content that works best is what works best for them. And you only really know that by testing it. And also what's practical as well. Some people, they might feel awkward about writing about themselves, but going on a video and talking about themselves, that's all right. No, thank. I'd rather pull my pull my own teeth out than do that. And so there's an awkwardness about it. If you're confident, if you've got the time to make that commitment to make videos, make videos. It's simple as that, and see if it works for you. But I'd also mix that. I'm a fan of the written word. I just am. It's just how I am. I like sharing stories. I think by nature, LinkedIn particularly is very much focused on the written word. There is a trend towards short form video, and I've
Yeah,
tried it, and I think it's a great way of actually building rapport quickly because they get to hear your voice, see your face, listen to what you're about, and it can work in a sort of 90-second video. You can really get a message across. But I
yes,
think the key is mixing it up. I really do. I think imagery works really well. A lot of people don't like selfies, but I think it's a great way. We like to see the whites of people's eyes, and I
yeah.
think that helps you connect with someone.
It's psychology, isn't it? It's psychology, and if people tap into that, it works so well, doesn't it? It works so well. I'm so happy, and it's so refreshing to hear someone have a conversation where they say, "You've got to test." There's not.
Mm.
It was a bit of a trick question, Stefan. I tested you there. There isn't a
Yeah,
blueprint. It's different
yeah,
for everyone, isn't it? And you spoke about it at the start with regards to the couple of viral posts that you've had relatively recently. You shouldn't just do content to go viral, right? There's this balance between value and vanity. And yes, it's important to reach more people and to grow the top of your funnel, but you also need to give value too. And another insight that you provided earlier, which I thought was brilliant and great to hear, is that more than ever before, people are so conscious of leaving a digital footprint. So a lot of your social posts won't get lots of engagement, and that's okay because you're constantly turning up.
mm,
And of course, then there's that balance
mm.
between reaching people and educating people, and posts that are slightly further down the funnel, and of course telling people to do something. What's your take on this, Stefan? Right, I've had this conversation so many times on this podcast. Do you think that us Brits struggle to actually tell people to do things? Because if you don't tell someone to do something in the copy, they're not going to do it. Right,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
need to do it.
It's funny. I was talking to a mate of mine earlier, and he's had an opportunity. Someone's approached him to do something. It could be great for him, and he was saying, "I don't really know what to do next. Do I just sort of sit and wait for the phone to ring?" And this is a guy who's successful with his own business. He's sold it, and he's doing some other stuff, and he's kind of a bit bored and not really necessarily loving what he's doing. And I said, "That's such a British thing to say. Like, oh, maybe I'll just sit and wait for the phone to ring." I said, if you're
Yeah,
American, they're much more right. Someone's opened the door for me. I'm going through that door. Pick up the phone. Say, "Yes, Bill. I'll further to our call. I want to talk further. I like that idea. Let's sit
yeah,
around the table and see what we can thrash out and see if it, do a deal on this." And I think there's so much about being a little. You don't have to be maybe outside your own. Maybe you're quite a reserved person. You don't have to suddenly go, "I've got to be Gary V and shouty and demanding you do this." You
yes, of
use your
course.
own personality to do it, but maybe just accentuate parts of it to say the next steps are go and do this,
Yes,
um, or
yes,
or even as simple as let me know what you think in the comments below.
yeah,
It when people read that, they're more likely to go, "Actually, I bloody well will say that. I'm going to write in
yeah.
there because I've got an opinion." And
I think,
it's simple. If you ask someone to do something, you're going to get somebody to go, "Actually, yeah, I think I will do that," or they're going to think about it, and that also leaves a little mark in their brain as well, and they'll remember
yeah.
you.
I'm just on this mini campaign at the moment to tell British people to get a little bit more American with their marketing. And I'm not saying, as you say, you don't have to go, full pelt with it. But a
Yeah,
great takeaway, I think, for people at the moment is how much of your content on LinkedIn is just educational. How much of your content is not telling anyone to do anything, to go anywhere, to try anything, to test anything. Just add a call to action on and see what happens. Since I've done that with my own content, I'm not sure about you, Stefan, but like I've seen some instant results on that in terms of people contacting me via private messages saying, "Yeah, Chris, I will have a bit of that, actually, thank you."
yeah.
Look, I'm so conscious of your time, Stefan. I'm so grateful for it. So my final question for you today is, I always like to ask this question: what are the top mistakes? What are the big things that you see on LinkedIn that give you the LinkedIn authority building ick, shall we say?
So one thing I always describe to people about social media is the clues in the name. It is social media. You know, it's a conversation. So being social is not talking at someone; it's talking with someone. And I always say the most important thing is to engage with people. And the amount of people who put out some sometimes amazing content, and you look through the feed and they've got 5, 10, 50 comments, and I haven't replied to any one of them.
It's
And I find
shocking,
that,
isn't it? Not
firstly,
to reply.
being blunt, you could say it's a bit bloody rude.
Yeah.
Someone's taken the time to go, great post, my thoughts are X, Y, Z, and had their, taken the time and effort to engage with your content, have the little bit of courtesy to reply. But more importantly, firstly, you're building rapport with that person. Secondly, other people can see. And the third thing is you're extending the reach again of your post. It's in your own interest to be engaging. And I think that's what bugs me is maybe, I mean, I always find some people who are great at social media always reply to DMs by going, thanks for your message, Chris. Not actually right for me right now. Maybe drop us a line next year. You've got no problem with that. But
Yeah.
some people, I always remember there was a trend for a while about people who are in non-sales focusing roles
Yeah.
complaining about salespeople contacting them. So I've had another bloody salesperson phone me up, fed up with cold calls. Now, I always say there's probably someone or people in your business who are doing that to their prospects, and that's what's keeping you in a job, pal. I think sales makes the world go round, but being social on social media
Yeah.
helps the social media world go round. So
Good.
that's probably my biggest ick. Not being consistent, not regularly sharing anything, and not engaging with other people on content, both on your own content, but also taking the effort to engage on other people's content as well, which helps people see you. It's all in your own interest to do that. Like we said earlier, you don't have to do it,
Yeah.
but it's in your interest.
I tell you what people do need to do, Stefan, which is a nice way to finish, is that they do need to take your personal brand quiz, don't they?
They do. They do. It's really simple. It's about 20 questions, takes 2 or 3 minutes, and again, it's in their own interest because it gives you a bit of an insight into your own authority on LinkedIn, and what you probably should be doing or shouldn't be doing, depending on how you answer. But yeah, it's in the link in my bio. You can find it straight away. Click on there, and it's a really simple quiz. They'll give you some insights into your own authority.
We've shared it on our socials as well. It's in the live copy of this podcast. Stefan, thank you so much for being such a brilliant guest today. I really appreciate your time.
Chris, it's always interesting to watch what you're doing. I love to see your progress. It's great to see what you're doing on social media. I'm a big fan, so I really appreciate you having me on.
You're the first guest that's ever complimented me after a show on the show, so thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. You're welcome.
Thank you so much also to everyone watching this live, listening back, watching back. Really appreciate your time and attention, keyword from this episode. Please do let us know your thoughts, feelings and feedback on social media. Tag us at Reeve Social. Thanks as always to our charity partner Big C, who help local people affected by cancer, and our sponsor Hill Coaching Company. Don't forget, the marketing event of the year is coming up here in the fine city. Reputation matters. There you go. You can read it for yourself. No nonsense advice on how to enhance your business brand. So proud to be teaming up with Plain Speaking PR and Naked Marketing on that blockbuster event. Get your tickets now. You will not regret it. I shall see you this time next week for another episode of A